And now, what do we got here? Come on down, Mike Johnson. You're the next sports correspondent on Late Night at the Plaza.
So lucky to be chosen. Start with Flames win, Flames win. Up until tonight, that was something that we couldn't have spoken by anybody in the city this week. Flames went 0-3 with losses coming at the hands of the Rangers, Wild, and Ducks. Flames embarked on a 7-game road trip out east, and they sure as shit better start eating Snickers because they don't act like themselves when they play the East. The Flames make a transformation as drastic and as equally unexplainable as Bruce Jenner when they play the East. Their record is a disappointing 8 wins and 13 losses. And just like those kids with the damn Razor scooters, the Flames' terrible play against these teams is a trend that needs to end, and hopefully will with this trip on the road.
Here, here.
The reason for this dreadfully long road trip is the annual Canadian tradition of drinking copious amounts of beer and watching people play life-size shuffleboard all night. Yes, the Canadian Brier gets underway this week, where each province will be represented, hoping for some sort of superiority prize to take back to their colleagues at Home Depot. This is, after all, indeed the sport where until recently players would play half-drunk with straw brooms and cigarettes in their mouths. I feel any sport where a 15-year-old can compete on the same level as a 70-year-old deserves a pat on the head and to be put in the same category as perhaps darts, bowling, or Magic the Gathering. For those who do wish to get in on the drunkenness, Alberta takes to the giant shuffleboard surface on Saturday at 6:30 p.m. against some guys from BC. The women last week showed off their sweeping skills, where we discovered Manitoba women may potentially make the best Swiffer operators, beating Alberta in the final. Time for our long-run ski and snow segment. This is the second week. Yeah. Since the Calgary Auto Show is upon us in less than 2 weeks, I've incorporated a snow report and the upcoming auto show, and it mixes quite like oil and water. Sunshine Village is like a brand new Ferrari, running on all cylinders this week with every run open, every lift operational, and peaking out at a whopping 153 centimeters of snow. Mount Norquay is like your modern Cadillac, slightly less powder with only 60 centimeters of the white stuff, but all the luxury of 34 runs at your disposal. Nikiska is your run-of-the-mill Ford Fusion with a respectable 45 centimeters of powder and 59 runs as options for you. Canada Olympic Park is unfortunately much like a 1984 Plymouth Reliant with bare bones amenities, including AM radio, which in our case translates to 3 shitty man-made runs being open. Lastly, Castle Mountain is our DMC DeLorean because, like the ride in Back to the Future, it doesn't exist anymore since the dummies at Castle Mountain closed down for the season. I'm sure the operators are wishing that they could borrow one and crank it up to 1.21 gigawatts so they could reopen now that there's some goddamn snow around. Finally, since there's no shot putting news this week, we cross over into the realm of science. Instead of talking about Newton and his E = MC2, we cross into the path of biology. Yes, it was Darwin, creator of the alligator fish Cardeckle, that once said, if you find a new species, you gotta give it a cool name. Finnish biologist took Chuck D's advice and named a new African wasp after part-time Bruins goalie and full-time Spaz Tuukka Rask. Rask seemed completely overwhelmed by the wandering scientist, calling their naming of the new discovery neat. Reports have come in with similar discoveries of a breed of banana slug being named after the Leafs forward Phil Kessel, and a rare sloth that has also been named after Oilers speedster Taylor Hall. And that is our weekend sports slogan.